Any Northerners in the audience?
Yes!
Thank you. Any sisters in the audience? Sisters?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, not sisters, you don't have to be together, but anybody who has sisters in the audience? Okay. Any Beatles fans in the audience? Okay. Anyone who's recently sorted out their family homes, gone through boxes like this? It's quite an experience. Okay, great. And finally, anyone who knows they've already got a question they want to ask? Okay, you're being shy, but we'll warm you up. Okay, great. Like even tentatively, he's just like, no. I said wave it about, not this. Okay, I'll come to you first after I start. So, as I said, my name is Terri Paddock. Sat next to me, please take your pause to the end, is a brilliant writer and co-star, Nance Turner. And next to her is the director, Aisa Nerva-Culley. And next to Aisa is the brilliant co-star, Emily O'Mahony. And I have to say, this is a bit of a reunion for me with Nance and Emily because I've done lots of great events here, and I've done events with both of you. And I guess this is one of the things I really love about the Lion and Unicorn is it is a family. You've developed an incredible community of theatre makers here, and it feels to me very much that this company, Nance, and this brilliant production has kind of arisen from that. So Nance, first of all, tell us what is your role here at the Lion and Unicorn, and how you developed Moving Spirit Theatre Company from working here at the Lion and Unicorn.
So I'm actually the operations manager here, and the wonderful David Brady over there, who's the artistic director, still employs me. Even though sometimes I probably wish he doesn't. And me and David have many chats, normally on the stairs, don't we, David, about just doing it. Just, if you want something doing, do it yourself. And lots of kind of encouragement and, positive energy. And, I'm really honoured that I'm friends with David and we get on, and he's always really encouraging and really supportive, and I really appreciate that. And it was just kind of like he'd just be like, just do it, just do it. Like, what's stopping you? And I'm like, well, nothing. So that was it really. I'd set up Northern Spirit in 2020. We all remember 2020. We all wish we didn't. And obviously then I scrapped it, and then I moved to London. I thought, no, I'll resurrect it, and I'll just see how it goes. So I just started putting on new writing evenings just to see where the kind of land lied.
And you did that here?
I did that here, and tried to kind of put as many like working class, underrepresented, and I said to myself, I'll only do these new writing evenings if I have a percentage of those people that are over the age of 40. Because, like, no offense to any of the Scratch Night people, they're all brilliant. It's just, there just seems to be a lack of mature representation on stage. So that was my ethos really. It was like, let's get those working class, underrepresented, women over 40 back on stage.
Yes. So, yes. So northern working class women over 40. These are very important.
Or those who identify as women, can we just like declare, like there's no kind of like, it's those who identify as and women as who they are, right? So
very important.
Everybody is welcome, but obviously if you're working class and over 40, you've got a much better chance.
So I'm going to be a little contentious as an American on the panel here, but and I want to bring Emily and Aisa into this as well. We don't really get class in the same way, Americans. So for the benefit of people who might be watching this online, who can explain what working class is to me?
Wow. I mean, that's a beefy question, particularly in the current climate, because it's really evolved quite significantly, and I think you have that tension between people who have a connection to what might be perceived as working class, and how that's broadened. And I feel like maybe the transition between classes has blurred a little bit. The criteria for it has certainly shifted. I think they've probably become more polarised at the two opposite ends. And maybe a little bit extended and blurred, but I'm no politics economics student, so I hesitate really to put a definition in place.
Okay, so do you have any contribution to that?
Again, beefy question. I think, like Emily just said, it's all blurred lines, and I think in the current climate that we are in, it feels like those lines are getting even blurrier, especially within the theatre world. Sometimes it can feel like things can be a bit unreachable, and dare I say it, sometimes it's about who you know, not what you know, and yeah, it's a hard one to answer because who knows? Like,
there is a brilliant line in the play that comments on becoming middle class, though, isn't it? What that line is?
Become so middle class after I think it's at the point at which I said about the tea, and the telly made me anxious, and I don't watch it anymore.
And you were considering veganism. But let me put it another way then, please, Nance. So with working class in theatre in particular, what do you think are the barriers to working class theatre makers getting work on?
Well, just being working class for a start. So, the working class, like, we don't have access to a lot of things that maybe middle class, people do. It's like the barriers with their 1 hour accents can be a barrier, and that can be a major barrier. Like when I trained, I always my friend Lainey did, we went to college together, and our director always used to tell me that if I don't get rid of my accent, I will never work as an actor. So the shift from the 90s to now, in that respect, has been fantastic, because actually regional accents, every time I get an audition, it's like, use your own accent, that's brilliant. But it's taken 30 years to get there. And, being, I hate using labels, right? I'm sure everybody does, but it's how you were brought up. It's how you feel about yourself. It's like the doors that are close to you. If you have a northern accent, or you call yourself working class. Working class to me is like, we were so poor. Like, we'd survive on a big. I'm perimenopause, and I'm on my brain fog's here. Like, we'd survive on potatoes, right? And I'd wear all my brother's hand-me-downs and stuff like that. And I think they're right. The shift between my idea of working class and working class now is completely different. Things have changed for the better, but we're still knocking on those doors, and we're still trying to blow them open, and no one's giving us a chance.
Very good. Now, this is your debut play, as I mentioned. How much, it's such a crass question to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How much of it is semi-autobiographical?
So some of the stories are actually my mum's stories. Some of the childhood is my childhood. So I would probably say about 75% is based on my experiences of growing up, my experiences with my parents, and living in an unsafe house in some respects, and having to deal with the aftermath of being the youngest child who might necessarily not remember much. Like, sometimes my brother will talk about, oh, do you remember when Dad did this? And I'll be like, I have absolutely no recollection of that. And he'll be like, you were in the room. You were in the room when he was like punching me in the face. And I'll be like, I have no recollection of him doing that. So it's that kind of blanking out, and that trauma that happens when you really do not want to be in a space, so you just drift off and you create worlds in your head. And so I think, like, Roe is an extension of me as a child, and Ginny is, as my son said, so you just play yourself then.
So, Emily, obviously this is more Nance's story than yours, but when you read the play, was there anything in particular that you identified with, and particularly with your character?
Um, Goodness, yes. Well, I mean, for a start, you know, I'm a woman, I'm a sibling, I have a sister, I'm the oldest, so it's slightly different dynamic. But I think even if it's not a sister you have siblings per se in your family unit. I think I just those tensions within a family of the difficult histories, the stuff that's gone before, the resentments that always sort of bubble under the surface are long held, but sort of sit at complete juxtaposition with the fact that, you know, they are your family, they're the people that you care about, but at the same time probably can have the potential to frustrate you the most. It's that ultimate kind of nobody knows how to needle you better than a family member, in particular a sibling, I guess. And I suppose there was a reality around that I just thought, yeah, you know, I can relate to that as part of the family unit, and I felt quite confident that others would, even if they weren't necessarily a sibling themselves. There's aspects of those dynamics, long time gaps, and then the old stuff always gets brought up. If it's not the Christmas table every year, there's always a moment in families where these things happen, and I guess that's what I could see the potential for, and I could certainly relate to. I would imagine many can.
Sure. And so just before I come to the gentleman in the audience, Asa, I'm going to go out on a limb here and think that I'm safe in saying that you are not a northern working class over 41 man.
I'm not, no.
But yeah, you were asked to direct this.
Yeah.
What were you surprised, and what appealed about the project for you?
I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised because me and Nance have spoken. I've known Emily and Nance, I think, 4 years. And me and Nance have had so many conversations about creating theatre and collaborating or separate projects. So there was an element of surprise because of the context, but also we'd kind of spoken about it. And I mean, I'm very touched, and very honoured. What drew me to this is, I guess, kind of Nance and Emily both said, is we all have families, we all have these family dynamics, and I've seen my family go through grief. I've seen how they deal with that. My mum's one of 5. I've seen the relationships of her and her sisters, and you know, for 32 years, I've seen it. I've been there. I may not be a sister, or I have a sibling, I have a brother. He's much older, and we didn't necessarily have the same sort of dynamic, but I've witnessed a lot in those family dynamics, and I think there's a lot that I've been able to take from it and relate to it in the script, and you know, especially about losing parents and losing family, close family. It's a really hard thing to navigate, and I think it the show portrays 2 sisters with a similar upbringing, but dealing with it in such different ways. And for me, it really hit here because there's no right way or wrong way to grieve, and I kind of read it as that's where so much of their relationship came from.
I really agree with that. I think it's that idea that 2 people can have such vastly different experiences of the same environment. And I think that's quite an interesting thing to unpack and look at, because that can often be the root where some of the tensions and problems are.
Very good. So here with the hand, second row.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nance, and this is your first play, and I'm just curious about the cost of getting to this point. You know, so you started writing it. I'm wondering about how much did you workshop it, and how much feedback did you have, and how did it change as you got to this point?
Are you a writer?
No, not yet. So
Not yet. Someone take it.
Please don't take inspiration from me. So first, when I say this, people give me an eyebrow, but when I say I'm not a writer, I'm not a writer, right? I haven't set out on my creative journey to be a writer. I wrote the play out of necessity because I'm a working class, middle-aged white woman who, struggles to get jobs, right? So it was more like, if you want something doing, do it yourself. So that was my starting point. And it was really, I was kind of going through family, my mum's, like my parents are dead, right? So sometimes I have to take out photographs to kind of remind myself of memories. And I just thought, I'm going to write a play. And it was such a, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And so it started off going, so it was a very kind of clinical process because it was like, I want two people, they're going to be sisters, and this is how it is. So the story you see on stage is not the story I set out to write. And it's had so many different changes to it. Then I got it to a point where I was like, I really need other people's opinion. So it took me 8 months to get to the point where I sat in a room with Emily, Aisa, and James Hadrell from French Theatre, bless him, who sat in the room too, and we had an R&D, and it was kind of having the feedback of there were things that I was missing, like certain things I needed to tweak. Went away, redid it, and then I just thought, right, I think it's ready. Let's do it. So, as in a process, it was more out of necessity than anything else, really.
And when you had the dates here at the Lion in Uniform, how long did you then have to rehearse together?
We had 6 days to rehearse together.
That's not bad, really.
Rehearsal-wise, we've had 6 days rehearsing, but we've had maybe six weeks that
And did the piece continue to change as you rehearsed, or was it locked in?
I'm because I'm not a writer. I'm not precious about things, and I understand also as an actor that you get in a rehearsal room and things change, and you have to change them because otherwise sometimes you get it on his feet and it doesn't make sense. So then you have to change it. You have to cut things. You have to rearrange the dialogue because when you write something, it's only in your head. And until someone says it out loud, it's like, oh, that doesn't really, that doesn't sound right. So that's the process, and that's the process I really enjoy. Is and also having the feedback from Aisa and Emily was just really, really joyful because it was like this is their experience they're bringing into it, and now Emily's going to bring Ro to life, and maybe it wasn't how I envisaged Ro, but I knew Emily was the right person for the job because I trusted her to do it, and she's done it brilliantly.
And Emily, I wonder, because it is such a personal project for Nance, she's written it and performing in it. What was that like for you guys to work with?
For me, I think as we kept going on, I realised more and more how much of this story is from Nance. I think Nance never actually disclosed how much of it was from truth, I think.
She just did.
And they always say, write what you know. I do believe that, and I think especially when you get it up on its feet and you start bringing life into it and get the words from the paper to the stage, it becomes so much more real. And for me, I wanted this to feel real. I wanted it to feel like you were watching these two sisters in an attic, and kind of like a fly on the wall. And there's some really moving moments, and within rehearsals as well, kind of exploring those and getting to witness that and seeing how each of us kind of relates to the work in different ways. It's been really nice, really lovely.
I could imagine it being quite emotional at times, no?
I think I was probably the first one to cry in the room. That's not a surprise, but it is. It's weighty stuff, and it's real. It's and so I guess you have that sense of wanting to sort of do it the justice it deserves. You know, serve the words, serve the text. You know, that's quite ingrained in you as an actor, and I was aware of the authenticity of that. So you just want to elevate it as best you can.
Wonderful. Okay, second row, and then Terri will come to you.
Well, I called you all because it was very touching and well done. It's just a lovely thing. Thank you. I wanted to comment on like comedy and so many laugh out loud moments.
Great lines, wonderful.
Yeah, I just wondered, are there any things that did you set out to make it funny, or did it just come in the process of writing, or was it during, or how's the process that they came to life?
So
just naturally funny.
Just naturally funny. So my friend Lenny, there, always says to me, "You need to write because you're funny." And there are times when me and Lenny have just been absolute hysterics about me just being an idiot, like just making a laugh because you know. And if I'm honest, I didn't know it was funny. I think the only really specific joke I really wanted was the Velma joke. Because I found that funny. But I didn't realise how funny it was.
Yes, that got a huge laugh. And my favourite was, are you still rooting around like a badger? Very good. Thank you for that question, Terri.
Really enjoyed it tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, really moving actually. I think a lot of people like live similar experiences, especially with siblings and family. On that note, with it being quite emotionally charged, for you, what was the hardest or most challenging part to write, rehearse, and then perform to an audience? I know that's three different questions in one.
Three questions.
Thinking about those stages. Yeah.
Write, rehearse, perform. That's all.
Perfect. Yes.
I found it quite therapeutic, actually, because there's a lot of things that I've never told anybody. Like, everyone just thinks I'm Nance. I'm gonna cry. Long day. So it's kind of like quite therapeutic, and because sometimes people don't care, right? They don't want to know. They just see a person and just assume that I've just turned this confident 40-odd-year-old woman, and there's been a process to get there, right? Because when I was younger, I never spoke to anyone. Like I got sent to a psychologist because I never spoke to people, because my family life was so traumatic, and I think it was just really therapeutic and also quite forgiving. Like, not to be really personal, but my dad was an alcoholic, right? So growing up in a house that was unsafe like that, you tend to kind of put barriers up. And actually, when my dad died, he died a good man because he stopped drinking and changed his life, right? So actually, even though it was not a safe household, when he died, we'd made peace, and it was nice. So the writing of it was therapeutic. And like I said, it wasn't the story I set out to write. It was like, I'm going to write this really, like, the women are going to be fucking kick-ass, and we're going to be like, yeah, like, just don't judge, like, perimenopausal women, la, la, la. And this came out. And, I'm pleased it came out, because if I ever write anything again, I think now I can just let that go and maybe write something a little more light-hearted, and something different. But I think this just needed to come out. Yeah,
Isn't that beautiful? Aisa, rehearse, and Emily, perform.
So, what was the question? What was the difficulties?
What was the challenge?
The challenge.
It's quite emotionally charged.
Yeah, I think for me, the challenge was allowing the space for a lot of the content. I didn't want to have the actors rush anything. I didn't want to rush anything myself. I wanted to give time to the work and make sure that both actors felt supported and felt like they had enough time with those scenes and with the content.
Which you absolutely.
Which you
Thank
did.
you.
Which you absolutely
Thank you.
did. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely did.
And yeah, I think as as a director, sometimes there's not always someone to bounce off of. So you don't know if you're doing a good job sometimes. You don't know if you've allowed that time. And you have to move on because you've only got a certain amount of time to rehearse. But yeah, it was checking in and, you know, trying to create the safest space possible and yeah, make a great environment for this work to come to life.
And Emily, is there a particular moment in it that is emotionally charged and difficult for you?
Well, the one caveat I give to all of it is that really the performance bit is the last bit, because I wouldn't be able to do any of this without the environment that Aisa's described in terms of rehearsal and enabling that, and having the safety of being able to also know when to put it down and to step out of that is quite an important practical thing you need to do for yourself in rehearsal, but also during performance. I suppose in terms of a particular moment, I'm not a parent. I've thankfully not had to face a decision around my potential role as a parent. So there's something about needing to step into that which is challenging, but you find other ways to get into that and the things that brings up, and you know, sometimes that really connects and can run deep, you know. So initially, yeah, it's sort of, there's a little bit of, you know, that's coming, so you know it's sort of building, and then you get into it and you sort of forget a bit, but yeah. So I say some of those moments can be a bit challenging, but I think it's just taking those relational elements that are there in the play and moving it into that mindset for that moment, even if I haven't been saying it.
You did a really great job.
You did. Okay, we're going to have to finish in a moment. Was there anyone else in the audience who had a burning question? Lainey?
I know you said you're not right.
Oh my God.
And, you know, obviously it's the first time,
Yeah.
and it's taken me X amount of years to encourage you. Please keep writing. I'm saying this in an audience of witnesses. Please
Okay, well, you've been told there.
I've been told.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In which case, okay, I will ask, I'd like to finish with a final question that each of you have to answer. I want to know, first of all, though, who gets to keep the lava lamp? Because I had a lava lamp.
Yeah.
There's a lot of,
It needs to warm up before it gets lava lamp.
yeah. There's a lot of things on the set that actually are my personal things, and the hat I take out of the box is Birdie's baby hat. So, like, there's a lot of, yeah, so he watched it last night and he was like, "Is that my baby?" Of course it was. I'm not, like, you know, budget. Hello.
You really are all over this stage.
Really are all over
You
it.
really are all over it. Okay. So then, you guys can choose from one of these two questions. What is the most important thing that you inherited from your parents, either parent, or tell me something you rescued from your childhood home? I think you've already just answered it. It's all on the stage. But you can think about it if you want to answer something else. Aisa.
I think what I value the most that I've learned from my mum is my integrity, is my word. If I say I'll do something, I'll do something. If I standing up for myself, and yeah, that's something that I really value in her, and I feel like I have inherited.
Very good. Emily?
In terms of something that I have rescued, it's not necessarily rescued, but I kind of took with me rather than in the family home is probably some of my little small furries that I had when I've been little. Like they were my first little friends, my first little.
Who's your favourite one? What's their name?
Oh God.
I have a teddy bear called Ted.
Yeah, I couldn't. I feel like I'll upset them if I pick a favourite. So yeah, there's many. Yeah.
And then.
I think probably I've inherited an inward rebellion from my mother. She was very outwardly rebellious, so I've inherited that kind of quiet rebellion. And balanced and balanced and why are you laughing, Lenny? What do you mean? Hang on a minute. Balanced and how to deal with something without drama from my dad, because he was a typical like northern dad, like he didn't say anything unless he really needed to, and he had no friends, and he gave no about that whatsoever. He was quite happy just to be him. So I think that's what I've inherited, and that kind of never give up. Like if you don't work, you don't get paid.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I think you've also overall inherited a northern working class spirit and a cracking story.
Thank you.
You have shared with us tonight. So thank you. So audience, you are now our champions for Northern Spirit, for Nance and Aisa and Emily, and for Jamless. It's here until Saturday. So please go forth, tell people, grab flag. No, they're not flags. Tell people. Yes, put it all on social media. When we give them one last big clap, we're just going to then bunch up together and bunch up together and get a group shot. So take your phones out, please, and take photos and share. And please join me in thanking Emily and Aisa and Nance and David.